behavior, mindset, and environment. And when you think about those three things, there's almost always some small things you can do in those three categories that can positively improve sleep.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Thrive State podcast. Do you believe it's December already? I hope you all are getting set for the holidays, bringing in that holiday cheer. I know it could be lonely for some people, but remember, through the power of the internet, through the power of reaching out, through the power of just having a little bit of intention of connecting, we could wipe some of that loneliness away. Now, I know for most part of the country, wintertime actually means it's cold outside, which makes us actually sleep better. Did you know that the human body actually rests and have deeper sleep when they are colder? In fact, our guest today is actually one of the original founders of the Chili Pad, which is actually a pad you put on top of your mattress that actually brings down the body temperature. The Chili Pad then also came out with the Uller, but now the entire company has rebranded to sleep.me. And I can't wait to share some of this information for you. But before we get into that, I want to ask you for a favor. If this podcast has given you value, if you've shared this with your friends and family, and this has really allowed you to up-level your life in any way, please do us a favor by engaging with the content, like, subscribe, add some comments, and please leave us a 5-star review. All that engagement will actually help the show grow so that we can impact more people and serve more people just like you. And if you haven't already, pick up a copy of my book, Thrive State, at thrivestatebook.com. It really gives you the blueprint on how you can use your choices, your actions, and your habits to create this Thrive state in your body, which gives your cells the messages to give you optimal health, longevity, and peak performance. Now, I mentioned to you, my guest today was actually the original founder of the Chili Pad, and now they've rebranded to sleep.me, because sleep isn't just cooling down your body in the end of the evening. There are many things that go into sleep to make sure that you get not only good quality sleep, but the amount and quantity of sleep that you need to have optimal health, longevity, and peak performance. What are those factors? There are mental factors, there are environmental factors, all these things that actually come into play right before you go to bed and when you are in bed to get a good night's sleep. We're going to be going over some of this stuff, but you're going to learn so much more by going to sleep.me to see all the new offerings that they have. So without further ado, please enjoy this conversation I had with founder Todd Youngblood of sleep.me. We actually had this conversation at the 8th annual biohacking conference. So please enjoy this conversation with Todd Youngblood. Dr. Kien here with another special edition of the Thrive State podcast here at the biohacking conference, and with good friend Todd Youngblood. We've known each other now for a couple of years. We say that community really allows people to accelerate in whatever they're doing. I met you at the Consumer Health Summit family a couple of years ago.
Yeah, man, it was a great event. Great to see you again.
Now, I know people love to hear why people do things, and you've really been in the sleep space for so long, and you guys have iterated, which we'll talk about. Tell me how you guys ended up in the sleep space.
All right, so the crazy story is 52 years ago, my uncle created the first waterbed. So he is literally the patent holder of the first waterbed. It was part of his thesis project in University of San Francisco Design School. I worked for him out of college. Fast forward, I was running my first business with my co-founder and wife, Tara, and our business was helping companies bring new products to market. So I was sleeping ferociously hot, and there had to be a solution, right? Because everything in the bed was adjustable except temperature. So I'm like, and if anyone that slept too hot, night sweats, meat sweats, menopause, night sweats, whatever, if you're too hot to sleep, man, it's miserable. Yeah. So that's what got us on the train to start Chili Pad. Or now, which has been rebranded as Sleep Me.
Yeah, well, I think many people already know the chili brand. It was really the pioneer, revolutionary technology that many people are starting to copy now.
Yep.
That has done great. Let's talk about the chili pad for a second and really temperature when it comes to sleep. What is the ideal temperature? And then when we get people into that temperature, how do people see their sleep improve?
Yeah, love it. There's no such thing as the perfect sleep temperature for all people. A lot of sleep scientists or sleep doctors will say, hey, keep your room between 60 and 68 degrees. Great advice. That is the right way to do it if you don't have access to active state heating and cooling technology. When you get deeper into the science, it really all goes back to Clifford Sapir's research, a Harvard researcher back in a published paper 2003. It turns out there actually is a sleep switch. When you cool your body at night, that change in temperature turns on the sleep switch via neuron. It helps you produce melatonin, helps you fall asleep. And interestingly enough, there's actually a sleep off switch, which when you start warming up, it turns sleep off, which creates that alertness that allows you to go start your day with pop. So our business now is really all about helping people find their individual temperature, because that question you asked is so difficult. There's no one perfect temperature. It's all about people finding their ideal temperature, making sure there's a dynamic temperature. They need to cool down to fall asleep, and as cold as possible when they hit deep sleep, and then warm up a little bit before they wake up cold.
So what's the process of finding that ideal temperature? Is it just trial and error?
So historically, it has been trial and error, right? So the first chili pad we started shipping in 2007. We've been working on this thing to evolve it over the last 15 years. The newest system we have, we love Aura and a lot of sleep trackers. We never imagined being in the sleep tracking space. However, we found, unfortunately, all the sleep trackers today, they're tape measures. They'll give you a nice report in the morning. They'll tell you how you did. They might give you some tips on what to do during your next day to improve your sleep the next night. We believe the future of sleep is automating the sleep improvement process. So the product that we introduced at this show was to our first ever real-time sleep tracking. When you connect that to the Doc Pro sleep system, we can actually make schedule recommendations and adjust the schedule automatically throughout the night to maximize your deep sleep and REM sleep.
This episode of the Thrive State podcast is brought to you by the Thrive State Accelerator. The Thrive State Accelerator is actually a home course that I developed using the exact same techniques I work with my celebrity clients, CEOs, and executives on how to get them to the Thrive State. The Thrive State Accelerator teaches you how to master your 7 bioenergetic elements. That's sleep, nutrition, movement, stress and emotional mastery, relationships, our thoughts and mindset, as well as purpose. In this Thrive State Accelerator, you're also going to get a bonus module on optimization. That's how I talk about supplementation, peptides, all the optimization techniques I use with my clients to get them to the Thrive State. Now, for some of you who are just joining us for the first time, you guys might be wondering, what is the Thrive State? Well, the Thrive State is actually the energy, the epigenetic environment we give to ourselves, telling our DNA how to act and how to respond. And if we want optimal health, longevity, and peak performance, if we can master these 7 bioenergetic elements, our ability to have those 3 things that we just said, optimal health, longevity, and peak performance, is at its greatest. And it also prevents you from getting chronic symptoms like brain fog, being overweight, feeling sluggish, acne, pain, all these chronic symptoms, as well as preventing you from getting chronic disease. So getting to that Thrive State is really getting to that state to master being that very best version of yourself so you could show up for you, for your family, for your business, everything that's important to you. So go ahead, check it out right now at kienvu.com/accelerator and use coupon code podcast25 for 25% off. Now back to the podcast.
That's amazing. So all you have to do is lie on the mat, sleep for a couple of nights, and the intelligence, spits out.
It takes about 7 nights to start to train the data.
Yeah.
And after that, we're going to start inter-night, within the same night, adjusting the temperature. You don't have to do anything. We're going to actually adjust the temperature to maximize your sleep And we have some out-of-the-box features like you get out of bed, it's going to warm the temperature a couple degrees. So when you get back in bed, it's not quite so cold. And it'll turn the temperature back down and help you fall asleep faster. So we love temperature. But there's a lot of other aspects about sleep that the rebrand on Sleep Me will really help us be able to talk authentically to customers and really overall talk about how do we help people improve sleep in general, not just temperature.
That's beautiful. So Sleep Me is really the new rebrand, not just temperature. What's the whole vision with Sleep Me? Is it health coaching? Is it supplements? Is it sleep coaching?
So there's really three main aspects of sleep improvement, and that's it's environment, like temperature and other things. Temperature, sound, and light are the key things on environment.
Yep.
It's behaviors. What do you do? When did you eat? When did you work out? What are the things that you can control in your day that impact sleep? And the other is mindset, right? Are you going to sleep in a stress state? Are you taking the time to meditate? Are you taking the time to downregulate? Are you taking the time to do box breaths to drop cortisol in your body? What are you doing to manage your mindfulness? Those three elements are all really important. As much as we love selling temperature is not the holy grail for all people, right? There's these other three most important elements that maybe your temperature's good, right? You're not waking up hot. That's not your major issue.
Yeah.
Maybe you struggle with behaviors. You're working out too late. You're eating too much throughout the day that your metabolic rate's increased. Or maybe it's mindset.
Yeah.
You need the tips to know when to downregulate. You wake up in the middle of the night, you don't know how to fall back to sleep. Maybe you need to learn about yoga nidra and how you can lay there and with the right coaching, find a way to fall back to sleep. Train your body to relax, to fall asleep peacefully. That's where we're really headed with sleep.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, I know a lot of people listening do. I actually have a lot of clients tell me the same thing. I'm getting up. I'm not able to fall back asleep. What are some additional things they should be thinking about doing at that time?
So not being able to fall back asleep, typically people have low sleep drive, like they're just not tired enough when they go to sleep, or they're waking up because they're hot. So temperature regulation, maybe getting a cold shower, go back to bed right away, or mindset. They wake up, and the moment they wake up, they start thinking about all the 27 things they didn't do. Put a pad next to the bed, write down that list. Sit there and do a box breath exercise. Try to train yourself to go back to sleep. Be aware of, did you have a lot of blue light before bed?
Yeah.
So it really is helping people find their individual sleep recipe. It's not one solution for all people, but understanding when we look at sleep problems, there's really three problems of sleep people talk about.
Yeah.
I can't fall asleep, I wake up and I can't fall back asleep, or I wake up and I don't feel rested. It's just garbage sleep. But we really focus on those three problem areas of sleep to give people guidance on what they can do to improve any of those three negative sleep outcomes.
What would you say right now would be the top three things that are inhibiting people outside of blue light? It seems like most people understand blue light is an issue. What would be the top three things that's really holding people back from getting quality sleep?
So I would say the most important thing is start a sleep journal.
Yeah.
And so for 2 weeks, be methodical about what did you eat and what did you do when, and how does that impact your sleep? Most people will find if they can tie their activities to their chronotype, they will find a much better outcomes in doing all the right things, but the wrong times, they're not going to have the desired effect. Be aware of what they're taking and how it impacts their sleep over the long haul. Melatonin, it's great as a silver bullet. Don't take it every night because it's hormone replacement. Your body will stop producing natural melatonin. If you're jet lagged, take it, no problem, but don't take it more than 3 nights in a row. So I think understanding the personal sleep recipe, we're never going to offer 3 tips that help all people in all situations. But there are always the 3 areas to focus on of behavior, mindset, and environment. And when you think about those 3 things, there's almost always some small things you can do in those 3 categories that can positively improve sleep.
I love how you break it down into just very 3 simple things for people to master. If they want to master more, if they want to find out more about Sleep Me, where do they go?
Sleep.me, man. That's why the name Sleep.me. That's the future of sleep health. We want to really help empower other sleep tech companies. We want to be a platform that just makes sleep easy and automated.
Last question for you, Todd. I know you've been to tons of biohacking conferences, a lot of different type of medical health and wellness shows, but in your life, what has been your best medicine?
Ooh, being self-aware, being humble, being self-aware. We all have problems. We all need to work on things. Being self-aware and humble to figure out, make sure you're working on the things that are most important.
Yeah.
I think that's my secret recipe.
Todd Youngblood from Sleep.me. Thank you for being on the Thrive State
Pleasure,
podcast.
man.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
I hope you enjoyed that episode of the Thrive State podcast. And if this podcast is bringing a lot of value to you, if you find that your life is just improving with this podcast, that your life is getting to the next level, please consider supporting it. And here's a few ways you can do so. You can do so by liking this video and commenting on this video, and also sharing this video with your friends and family. Another thing you can do is go to ratethispodcast.com/ThriveState. Go ahead and leave us a 5-star review there. It will really, really help this show grow. And this will give me more time so that I could actually give more content to you, just like you got in this episode. And if you haven't already picked up a copy of my book, Thrive State, Your Blueprint for Optimal Health, Longevity, and Peak Performance, you can pick it up now. It became a #1 new release in longevity. Go to thrivestatebook.com. And if you enjoy the book, please consider leaving us a review as well. And the last thing you can do, if you're liking everything here and you want to work more closely with me as well as my team to get you into the Thrive State, go to kienvu.com/accelerator and consider joining the home course, the Thrive State Accelerator. It's really the course that I use. It's the concepts that I use personally when I work with CEOs, celebrities, and my high-profile clients to get them to the Thrive State. Again, the Thrive State Accelerator at kienvu.com/accelerator. And because you're a listener of this podcast, I want you to save 25% by using the coupon code podcast25. I hope we continue to give value to you. And remember always, you are your best medicine.